and welcome to my top 5 Villainess series. I say series because one is specifically after the light novel, so let's check them out. Starting in 5th place is going to be The Villainess's Guide to Not Falling in Love. This story is around our female lead Lucana here with the purple hair, who was in her 30s and ended up dying and being isekai'd into one of her favorite romance games. But she is the villainess there to make the heroine miserable. They are in a world where magic users are very respected. So this series has really great world building and interesting fights. The characters are enjoyable and the art is gorgeous. It is a harem series as no male lead has been picked and she has plenty of choices. Of course, now that our female lead is in her favorite otome game, things aren't quite as what they were. So it does have its surprises. I do enjoy several of the male leads, although I am particularly a fan of her brother, which is here on the front. That is Sapphire. And he's just a really enjoyable character. He's fun, he's charming, but I don't think that they are necessarily actually siblings. I think that there is a little bit more mystery to the series. So I'm definitely intrigued to know more, but I am very invested in this series. And in 4th place, which I am hoping is still going to get an announcement soon since the anime has ended, and that is of an observation log of my fiancé who calls herself a villainess. This story is around our male lead, Cecile, who is a prince and is kind of bored with life, kind of similar to Giordo from My Next Life as a Villainess, and he ends up being engaged to Bertia, and she has been reincarnated into the game. So she declares herself as the villainess, and she is going to get Cecile and the heroine together. So we have Cecile, who is very entertained by Bertia trying to be a villainess. Meanwhile, she is a very kind-hearted person. I love how it dives deeper into Cecile being able to gain his emotions and to truly fall in love with Bertia. She's not just his toy. And for me personally, since I like yandere males, Cecile has some of that. So this series is fantastic and I love that it's coming from a male lead perspective. And there also is the next series, an observation log of my wife. And in 3rd place is Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim, a Yakuza Harris becomes the top-ranked villainous romantic target. So this story is around our female lead here on the front, Francesca, who in her previous life, she was the granddaughter of a Yakuza boss. Then she ends up dying and gets reincarnated into a game. And in this world, she is engaged to their mafia rival, and that is Leonardo here on the cover. And I find that he is very mysterious. So she's doing everything that she can to challenge him and get out of her engagement. But of course, he isn't going to allow that, and he's quite intrigued by how different she is. I really enjoy our female lead, who is still kind of naive on some things, but she's very challenging and smart at the same time. There is a lot of mystery around our male lead, and he is quite charming. He also may not be as bad as Francesca believes. So I really enjoy their dynamic and I love the mystery and where things are going. This also is a fantasy as they do have abilities. So it does come with its challenges if others know your abilities. And in 2nd place is The Villainess and the Demon Knight. This is a smut, so forewarning. This story is around Cecile here on the cover, who ends up being reincarnated into her favorite game. Cecile, who ends up having her engagement annulled and she is sent off to be a prostitute. But she has no experience with men. So on her first night of work, she ends up being bought out by our male lead Lucas here on the front, who has been obsessed with her for many years. So Cecile doesn't realize that she has met Lucas before when they were young because he was in disguise. Lucas became a knight and is somebody pretty important to the kingdom, and he has been watching out for Cecile for many years behind the shadows, so he could protect her. This series does take them a little bit to be more open and communicate and really let their feelings out. So once they do have a mutual love, then Lucas isn't such a yandere as he once was. Cecile definitely brings out the softer side and makes Lucas less anxious. So I really like the positions that they're in and where it's going, circumstances with other characters, and of course the sweet and sensual moments of them together, although it's not always that way. Cecile will definitely get mad at Lucas and try to put him in his place. This also does have fantasy elements. I personally love the dynamic between our leads and the world building that's happening. And in first place comes Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. This is the same writer as Reincarnated in a Mafia Dating Sim, if you were not aware. I do also have the manga, but I much prefer the light novel, and that's where I started. I really need to show you Arnold. So here is Arnold, and he is just so handsome. I love his hair slicked back like this. As the title states, Seventh Time Loop. So our female lead has had 6 lives already, and each of those lives she lived differently with a different occupation. Ultimately, in all of those lives, she ends up dying, and it is always connected to our male lead, Arnold. So Riche has gained a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge throughout that time, and she is doing something completely different this time around. And that is to be engaged to Arnold. So I love to see the progression in their relationship and how they are getting closer and closer with every volume. So it's great to see the vulnerability with especially Arnold and how much he is growing attached to Riche. There is a lot of mystery with this series, so there's tons of questions, and I find it very interesting. It is fantastic how in this life she is also meeting those who she knows from her previous life and how it's being intertwined into the present and what Riche can do differently. The world building and the lore in this series is all very interesting. And there is a lot happening, for in 6 volumes, not very much time has really passed, so things are progressing fairly quickly. Riche and Arnold are both very strong leads. This is a fantastic series and I cannot recommend it enough. So that is it for my top 5 villainous series. I hope you enjoyed, and be sure to let me know if you are interested in any of these or if you would agree with me. Thank you for watching. Till next time, take care.